Yay.
Hello, everyone, and we are live. Hi, Beth. Sorry there was no sound in that. We couldn't get it running. But welcome, everyone. So, this is our third edition for the Less is More Ladies at the Round Table Meaningful Conversations. It's me, Amy Amrita from Asia, representing Less is More Asia. And there's Paula, Less is More
Hello.
Africa.
Good evening from South Africa, representing Mrs.
Yes.
Mora.
So if you liked what you saw just now for the promo, that is the Less is More event that we do. So yes, so because so next year we have this event one more time, the fourth edition. It is on May 28th to May 30th in sunny Lisbon again. And feel free to join us. The Less is More Foundation website is there for you to register and buy your passes and stuff like that. And for it, we'll have an amazing promo offer starting in August. Maybe in the next live video, we will let you guys know. So we have a very interesting, we've had two very successful, very interesting talks before this. We've started some very nice conversations, fun conversations. We've had nice guests, and we hope to continue doing this. So yes, my friends are watching. Sampath, Satya, she's a very sweet student of mine. She's there, and there are quite a few friends I just spotted. Shout out to you all. And apologies for Neelam, Martha, and Danny not being able to be there today, but I hope maybe Neelam will come and drop in sometime later. But then as of now, you just got me and Paula and some pretty amazing guests coming in. Before we go on, last week we had the amazing Jim Kamara with Wakanda Designs, and he asked a question. Yes, yes, Wakanda Prince. So he asked a question, and then he was going to give out. Yes, that's the question. At the Like Lisbon 10th anniversary, which famous singer sang Umaboa? So we've got some winners. We've got a bunch of winners here. So we're going to pull out a lucky draw of all the people who've answered correctly. And then they're going to receive a very special prize from Wakanda Prince. Let's have the banner up, Paula.
Yes. The Wakanda Prince right now.
Yes, from Wakanda Prince. If it's a guy winner, he will get a fantastic t-shirt custom made to your size. And if it's a female winner, we will have a beautiful, beautiful, very pretty skirt from Wakanda Prince, again custom made.
Can you see it?
No, I don't see it. It's still, the question is still coming.
I'll show you that.
Mix it up.
All right.
We're going to have an amazing contest today as well.
Do you see it now? Can you?
Yeah, we see the skirt. Yes, that's a beautiful skirt right there. That's going to be up for grabs for the winner.
And this was t-shirt.
T-shirt, yes. Can we have the banner of Wakanda Prince up, Paula?
Yes.
The information of Wakanda Prince.
Wakanda Prince.
Yes, that's the one. So get in touch with Jim Kumara for your winner. Thank you very much, Jim, for coming in and being a part of our show and having your design, sharing your designs and everything with us. It's a fantastic thing that you're doing, and we're gonna all order from you. I remember you promising us some special promo code and discount code for Less is More Ladies. Yes, so that's another added advantage that Jim was very kind enough to share with us. And time for winner. Let's see who's the lucky lady or who's the lucky gentleman. So,
and which country will be the winner?
Yes. Oh, it's a gentleman. The lucky winner is Dave Payne. Dave Payne. Payne. Yes, I hope I am pronouncing it right. So Dave Payne is lucky winner of our last week's contest.
Uh-huh.
Dave Payne, if you're here, you can yes, Dave is the winner, and yeah, thank you, Paula. So he can win this fantastic T-shirt. All right, and so coming to today's talk of the town, the topic that we are gonna have is ta-da, Paula. Yes, diversity and inclusion. So this is a very, very important topic close to my heart. And because one of the reasons why I started Amy Chur's My Dance School here in India was because to pull in people, encourage people from all backgrounds. We recently had, last month was the Pride Month, and then where people from all backgrounds and all anybody, whatever it means to you. So we would love to hear your thoughts about what diversity and inclusion means to you and what experiences you've had in terms of these diversity and inclusion being a part of your dance community. Has it been positive? Has it been negative? And how do you think we can improve? Anybody from the special community who's especially abled, or who's a member of the LGBTQ community, or an ally, or anybody, do you think we have chances of improvement? Do you think your experiences in the dance community was good or bad, or anything that could help us know your experiences, and then let everyone also know, to let our audience know that what really happens, and what everybody expects to be treated, how everybody expects to be treated in this dance community. Paula, how was your experience? What do you think?
Well, in my own experience, I think it depends of the place where you are and the context that it's around the place and the community that surrounds you. I came to work with the minorities and special kind of groups, what I used to call, or vulnerable groups. After like really many years after I started teaching dances, because it takes time sometimes for getting people interested and involved, to go beyond what is normally considered the normal or standard dance classes. And but I found that in my case, it was like it became a really meaningful, and it's actually what I used to do nowadays. I like to promote social change and empowerment of communities or vulnerable groups, minorities, and so on, through the arts, not only dance, but whatever you can do to produce that. And that's how one of the reasons that I also joined this team, by the way.
Yes,
So
that's exactly what
makes
SSO
sense.
stands for. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So, time for our ambassador to step in and share her amazing thoughts and beautiful insights on this. So, let's welcome in the house, give her a big, huge, less is more welcome to Ananya. Ananya, let's.
Anania,
Is
and
she
Anya
here?
is a little. She's logging in. She's having. She says in like 2 minutes we'll be here. Celia is already with us in the background.
Okay, we'll bring her in later. And then we shout out to Sohini, who's watching. She's a very good friend of mine. She's and as Harini, my dance partner. Yolisa,
Yes. So
hi.
Lisa, greetings. She's from South Africa. So we have
Oh,
some
hi.
fellows here.
Yes, great, great, great.
Sawubona.
Yes, fantastic. So we've got some amazing friends logged in. So if you're here, do let us know your thoughts about what do you think about inclusion, and what do you think about diversity, and are we doing enough to make the LGBTQ community, the minority groups, the specially challenged groups, anything to make them feel welcome or not. in the community and what were your experiences regarding this. Vivek, hi. There's a lot of people from India have logged in. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So,
Yalida. So we have Vivek also, and we have Ananya already ready. Should I bring it?
okay, Ananya, bring her in. Let's give it a shout out.
Hello.
Hi, how are
Hello, Ananya.
you?
I'm fine. I'm not live yet, I hope, or am I?
No, you are live. You're live.
I'm live. I was trying to see what is the best angle for my light here, but anyway, I can experiment with it while I'm live. Is it okay? Is my lipstick fine?
Your lipstick is fantastic. We are all matching now.
I only remembered the code about the white very late, and but I did remember the lipstick, so I went and counted that.
You still have the red lipstick on. That's all right too.
It's pink, but this is the issue with the light. So hello everybody. Are we already like in the main discussion? Are we chit chatting?
We just first I have introduced the topic. We've introduced inclusion and diversity, but we would like to know your thoughts on it and how we've asked for people to share their experiences, and we are waiting on comments. And meanwhile, you can take it away and share your experiences, your thoughts, and how we can make things better or worse, or how is it? How has it been?
Before that, why don't I make sure that I start the watch party? One thing I seem to be doing less and less these days is multitasking. So why don't I start the watch party on my page? Give me a second, and then I will roll. So I guess I'm going to the less is more group.
No, you're going to have to go to the Kizomba Family London group.
Oh, yes. Kizomba Family, yeah, I can see that. And then we've got our less is more talk, diversity and inclusion. And that's the one which I need to put on the watch party, right?
Yes.
Okay. Watch video. Sorry, I'm just like, people are thinking, what an idiot is about to talk to us about, diversity and inclusion. She has to like articulate every moment of her thing. But I'm not able to get the watch party on. Why is that?
Press on share, which is below the live link, and then it'll give you a couple of options.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I'm not getting the live link for some reason. I've got less is more diversity talk and inclusion talk, and the live link is
Bonnie, I see you watching. Bonnie, hi. So there are a lot of that's another dance instructor from Chennai, and he's also. Bonnie, give us a comment. Let us know what you think about.
Let's have some comments from people so that by the time I get
people are just getting warmed up. People,
exactly, yeah.
Here, especially Brajesh Yadav.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
So Brajesh.
I'm just about to join everybody. I'm doing that now.
I think we can hear your video.
Yes, we can hear you sharing the video. To reduce the volume. So meanwhile, everybody, let us really know that what do you think about what inclusion and diversity means to you, and how have you seen inclusion and diversity being implemented or not implemented in your own dance community, in the festivals that you've gone to, and how that has affected you. Ananya, you've got to reduce your volume of your video there because we can echo.
That is it. That was what was causing the echo. It's all sorted now. I think I have put my. All is well, guys. I'm with you.
Yes,
here.
Finally.
It's Friday evening. I'm ready to roll.
It's Friday night here, midnight.
I know. Well, it's still sunny here, as you can see. I'm struggling with the light.
Eastern people, we love to party late in the night, so it's all right. We're still partying, ready to party.
You guys start later, yes, that's true.
Okay, Ananya has got frozen in a very beautiful pose here.
Going, I don't know why. Anyway, have you got some questions from people yet, or are people still warming up?
Still warming up, not yet questions.
We have from Beth, we have a beautiful last talk about something which she wants to go back on. So could you, Paula, could you please put up Beth? Yes. Last talk was about ageism. That hits the category as well. Inclusion, yes, very true. The biggest draw to me was that I could look around the room and there were people from 22 to 92 from every shade of skin, from different religious points of view, different shapes, preferences of gender orientation. But once involved in the scene, there is quite a bit of cliqueness, like anywhere else in the world. Yes, that's a fantastic point. Because one thing I feel I always tell everyone also in our events, that the dance floor is a very non-judgmental space. It does
Absolutely.
It does not care where you're from, who you are, how old are you, or what community you belong to, what your beliefs are. You come here, you just dance. Sometimes people don't even bother to ask your name. You come here, you hug someone. Even people who have real social anxieties, who have trouble talking to people, but they somehow find a really nice niche into the dance community, because they can avoid the unnecessary conversation and directly connect to someone through dance.
This is Beth's point, though, I think, because as long as you are anonymous, you can have this feeling of being completely like safe. You go, I remember my early days in dance where I really didn't know too many people, and social media was not that, it was like in infancy, frankly speaking. There was no way you knew what the names of the people were, let alone tracking them down. You would just, I used to travel a lot for my work, and I would often just make sure I had my dance shoes, and I was younger, I had more energy maybe. I remember going to San Francisco for a conference, arriving, checking into my hotel, jet lag, flying from London to San Francisco, checking out the club, just taking a taxi and just going to an unknown club in San Francisco to dance. I remember entering, checking, you're just standing there. People know you're a dancer. They ask you to dance. Somebody asked me to dance, and I remember we were dancing, and suddenly I had no idea what he sounded like. You're dancing, you're not talking. You just connect on the floor. He looked a bit like, it could be Latino. San Francisco, right? Any shade of brown is there. Like me, he didn't know. Turns out he was a Parsi guy from Bombay, You go all the way to San Francisco, and then, you meet somebody who is pretty much from the same part of the world as you. And you would have, it was just because there was maybe a moment where we exchanged a few words and I got his accent, Anyway, he became a very good friend of mine. And the next few times I went to San Francisco, he took me to the really amazing clubs where, you know what I'm talking about. So the thing is that there is a moment in your life in dance where you are very anonymous, and that's where perhaps you can take the most advantage of its inclusiveness, because the minute then you start getting a bit known, and then people start knowing you, and then you start knowing people, and then those cliques which Beth talks about inevitably forms. I think we should really try our best always to remember this inclusive spirit of the dance, and try our best to avoid cliquism, because it spoils the energy for sure, and it makes a lot of people feel unwanted when that's not at all what we want to do.
Yeah, I knew this person in my Chennai dance community. He was hearing impaired, so he used to feel the rhythm on the dance floor and dance, and because he had
impaired hearing.
He had impaired hearing, so he had trouble with his speech also a little bit. So, and that kind of had become a wall for him. It was so every human being seeks connection, human connection,
Yes,
right? It's natural human
absolutely.
nature. We are
Absolutely. Yeah.
human being, Homo sapiens are social beings, right? But then
Mhm.
when you have these kind of limitations with you, sometimes having real connection starts becoming a little difficult. So it was
Hmm.
very amazing to see him come out of that hesitation that
Hmm.
maybe his speech, I mean, it was in his own head that I
Yeah.
sound funny, or I might not hear everything, but then when he transforms into this complete different personality when he comes to the dance floor, and he's out hugging everyone, he's just asking through gestures, come, let's dance, and they're dancing, and he's very popular too, so
I mean,
that's
there's another thing that I think also it doesn't perhaps come under classical de- um, definitions of diversity and inclusion, which are usually about some sort of physical or cognitive, sort of challenged person, something which is to do with something embodied, perhaps, or but social class. Also, I think, is an important factor which often divides people and makes people feel uncomfortable hanging out with each other if you know that there's a difference of class. This is particularly true in a place like India. You know,
oh
uh,
yes.
need we say more? You know very well what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
However, in my exploration of social dance scenes in India, I was pleasantly surprised to see again the ability of dance to cut across
Yeah.
those very very sharp divisions in society, and which often especially you talked about your friend who had issues of self confidence around speaking because his hearing was impaired. But we know how people often feel, oh, their accent is not right, they don't speak English properly. But when you're on the dance floor, who the hell cares about all that? Anyway, you can't even hear what people are saying.
Yeah.
There's no time to talk. You're thinking about how good does he dance? How is he leading me? Am I following him well? What's our connection? And that is so
Universal
beautiful.
language.
Yeah. And that is for me quite revolutionary in the way couple partner dances can change attitudes in places like India, where there is a lot of exclusion on so many grounds, and it's a very good model, I think, for us to understand how partner dances, couple dances, can help us think about diversity and inclusion issues elsewhere. Because I think the situation in India is so stark, where in societies, especially in Indian cities, where everything is so policed, and then you have a dance floor and people are just, and also let's not forget women's safety. We are very very conscious of how unsafe we can be in urban spaces in India, and yet again, like anywhere else in the world, when I enter a dance floor, we know we've had issues around safety and women's safety in the dance world, so that's another topic. But in general, our expectations are that we are safe, that people know how to behave, and people are protecting you and looking out for each other. And I think that is also something that's very very precious about what we do, how we connect.
Exactly. So even for that matter, like now the concept of partner dancing is also changing a bit, where women are leading and there are amazing men who are following. So even LGBTQ community also feels quite
Yes.
welcome here. They're able to express themselves however they want. Just
Yeah.
want to take up one comment from Boni. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has commented on my watch party. He says,
Hmm.
for me, inclusion means everyone can dance anywhere, and
Yeah.
that is very true. And here we have something from Harini. Here, see, she says, in general, I would say I've seen a lot of diversity and inclusion in
Yeah.
our dance community, as most people in the community are exposed to various different cultures and experiences, which makes them less judgmental. Yes, very true. But there
Hmm.
have also been cases like you are from Asia and you're the only one in the Western social. People may not be as inclusive unless they know you or you are a mutual friend. The same is true with ageism as well. People prefer to dance with the young and beautiful and hot unless they know you. Very valid point there. Yes, I feel you've hit a right point. So the idea of dance floor and the dancing is what Ananya said, that it is to bring people together, and this the anonymity and how we are able to just let go and dance. But
Mhm.
yes, people do become picky and choosy on the dance floor. Sometimes there are events that have been that they would just only dance with their own friend circle and just their own dance school people, because dancing with strangers is not a very open concept, especially in India, right? So especially like you said,
Yeah, yeah.
women, so women dancing with strangers, the first thing that the society goes like judgmental, like छोटे छोटे कपड़े पहन के कि सब अजनबी मर्द के
But
साथ नाच
I
रहे
did
हैं.
see, but
I
for
go the full
myself,
Indian one.
Amrita, I felt that this was one place where people, where in India, people could wear chote chote kapre, could wear little short little skirts and dance with relative strangers without that judge. I still felt, I still, maybe I'm being too utopian, but I do feel that
You're absolutely right. You're
this is a
absolutely right.
place
But
where certain things. I saw young women taking great pleasure in dressing in
yes,
ways that perhaps they couldn't dress elsewhere, and I was very happy to see that. Um, uh, Now the point that was made earlier by Harini, that people, there's ageism, there's hotism, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, these things, of course, we talked about them, all these issues in depth last time, and it was a very satisfying conversation, I think, because we came to some sort of a feeling, a consensus that, I don't know, that, it's like water finds its own level. If I go to a dance festival and there's a whole mix of people I know and I don't know, it's up to me to behave in the way I want to. I may feel some nights I just feel fragile. I want to enjoy myself with people I know. I want it to be a safe night. I'm never going to take risks. I'm only going to look for people who know me and whom I've danced with before, and I'm going to dance with them. And I can, because it's a festival, I can be guaranteed, I should have enough dances to feel it was an okay night. But there may be other nights. Second night, I'm feeling a little bolder. Hey, I'm in a festival. Why have I come here if I just want to dance with the people I always know? I'm going to
yeah,
randomly meet people. Or I'm going to emit that body language which makes people want to ask me. We know what that is like, right? You have a particular face and a pose, and you're like, you're on the edge of the dance floor. You're not like, you're waiting to be asked. And people pick that up, and yeah, and, and they ask you. That's a risk. But I don't think, therefore, you shouldn't. We also do that kind of judgment. We look at guys and we're like, I just hope you're not going to ask me because I don't think I want to dance with you. We do that too. And maybe they do ask you, what do you do then? I usually dance with the person because I just think it's good karma, let me dance with him because
yeah. I feel you. I feel you exactly. I do that too. Yeah.
so I do feel, Harini, for everybody who may reject you because he thinks that you're not hot enough. You may reject somebody because you think he's not hot enough. And also, there may be somebody who comes along who's not wanting to dance with you on the basis of whether you're hot or not. They just want to dance with you. And I think it's a gamble every time we go to the dance floor. We have no clue how the night is going to turn out. We love that. We love that feeling. Why do we keep going back otherwise? And so it's up to us to make a good night or make the next night the good night, or there's always another night. I mean, I'm the eternal optimist.
And generally I've seen that if you are this new face in a well established dance community, you people just dance with you out of curiosity, just to see who you
Yes.
are and how you dance.
Yes.
And then the popularity of you or getting another more dances is dependent on how you dance.
Under these circumstances, it's extremely good practice to, I think, to go and show your stuff on the dance floor without feeling inhibited, so that people see you dance. The main thing is you want, and I think that's when those fears about cliquism, about am I accepted because I'm not this, that, or the other, don't show. In general, I think if people have gone on the dance floor with some sort of a visible physical, issue, people will actually want to dance with them because they want to give to that person who's come on the floor, in my opinion.
Coming to that, that's a very good point that you made, that, visible physical inhibition that they have. I have seen, I mean, I don't know about European or other dance communities, but in India, I'm going to say it out flat out openly. In India, the obsession over fair skin, and you and I, we can safely categorize as the decently fair brown people. Yeah? We're on the safe side, but I've personally seen firsthand in dance classes, even during performances, the pretty and the fair looking girl, no matter whatever is the dancing level, girl, or mostly it's for the women, would be put as the centerpiece or in the front line, and the women who are a little curvy or who are not to the skinny side, or who are melanin rich and all, they would be
slow learners.
Even if they might not even be slow learners, Paula, that's the thing, they might actually be very skilled dancers, but because of
mutism.
Yes, because of the hotism that you mentioned, that they get pushed behind at the back of the line. So that kind of gives themselves a very lack of self-confidence. It's a very self-esteem shattering experience to even go through that be it called sizeism or hotism or whatever it is. So I think
a new word today, hotism.
I know, right? I love it. So I think that a lot of it also, because you are introduced into the social dance floor by your dance teacher, by your dance school. So, but when your school itself or dance community itself, the inclusiveness, the DNI has to start from the dance school, has to start from your instructor, from your teacher, from your organizer, and it has to be enforced similarly it has to translate directly into the events that you go to, be it a festival or a social. Everybody has a vibe like that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, but I think here maybe okay, I'll come in with a couple of responses there. First thing, I think this is why it's extremely important of a platform like Less is More, which Neelam for quite a few years now has been insistent on having a space for women of all shapes and sizes, frankly speaking, to feel comfortable on the dance floor, and to understand that it is when you are confident in yourself, which includes your physical attributes, you will be able to use your dance skills better. Because you could be a very skilled dancer, but because you're not emitting that confidence, nobody will ask you, or you will feel shy to ask people. So what was the point of having the skills? Because you were held back because of your conception of what you are. So it's an obligation that all of us have towards each other to make sure that we prop each other up and we make each other feel confident. If I see a woman enjoying herself on the dance floor and really looking good because she's having a good time, I make it a point to convey my appreciation to her. And it's kind of like, I cannot predict how I would do it, but maybe by just giving her a smile, saying something to her, she comes off the floor, those small ways in which we help each other are very, very important. And, less is more is the way to do it. It just makes it formal, right?
Yeah, it makes it easy. The transition is very easy. Absolutely fantastic points there, Ananya. We'll pick up a few more comments from Beth and Yolisa.
Yes, we also invite our.
Let's invite Sam. Let's have a male perspective.
Yes, we'll wait. Hang on to that. Before that, we just interrupting for a small 2-minute thing, that we've had a very intense discussion now.
We have, yes.
So I'll just like to take 2 minutes to like a minute to remember. These are very difficult times right now, to remember a few dancers and the souls that we have lost recently. yeah, day before yesterday, I got to know. I mean, he passed away long back, but then I got to know just day before yesterday. I haven't met him, Zoltan Furedi. He was. I knew him through people, and he passed away. And times have been just terrible. So I would like
Was it
to
because
make.
of COVID? Was it a COVID related?
Not very sure,
Okay.
but he was sick in January as well.
Right.
In while he was in Manila, that's what I've been told. And then he went back to his place in Hungary
Yeah,
and Budapest, and then that's where he passed away on 5th of June.
that's tragic. Yeah.
Yes, of late we have lost quite a few important members from the dance family, from the music family, and it's just terrible times. And it's just makes it more important for all of us to check on each other, to reach out to, and to use this age of
Yeah.
Wi-Fi and internet, and just
Yeah.
despite all of this, it just shows how alone we are, and you
Yeah.
know, it's the connection is just missing. So just wanted to take a minute to remember all those lovely souls that we have lost in the past few months, especially that we were not able to meet and connect and even have a last hug or a last goodbye or a last dance. And it's just so sad. So on a happier note, let's invite yes, I have some very interesting questions for Sam, but then I'm going to hold on to that excitement. Before that, let's invite Silla here quickly for the contest for today.
Yeah.
And to share her thoughts on the topic. And also,
Hello, Silla.
Hi, Silla.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Silla. So Silla she owns knits and wax. Yes, yeah. She owns knits and wax, And welcome to our little sweet little talk show that we have. Tell us more about yourself, Silla. We would love to know you and what you do and your business.
Okay. My full name is Priscilla, but people have been calling me Silla, especially on the dance scene. I have danced for, more than I can remember, maybe 7 years, I would say. And 4 years ago, I decided to create a brand. I've always been in love with African prints, and I wanted to bring in something different because there is a lot out there. However, we are in London and it's not very hot all the time. So I was thinking to bring something different, mix African prints with knitted items. Hence the name of the brand, Knit and Wax.
Wow!
Amazing. Wow! I want a knit and wax item. Are these like like scarves which are wax on one side and knitted on the other, or things like that?
Things like that, yes. I'm still developing this because it's quite particular. It can also be a jumper with a bit of African print on the hems, on the cuffs, and stuff like that.
Nice.
I love what you're wearing right now. It's actually very pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, as soon as we have a life again, we want to buy new clothes to go out in. I know where I'm going for my knit and wax.
There you go.
Yes. So Silla has been kind enough to share some love with us for the contest. She's going to give away something very special from her collection.
Yes.
Paula, would you want to put it up? He's going to...
All right, then. Can you see it?
No, not yet.
Are you trying to share your screen, Paula?
Yes. Can you see it?
Something's coming up now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
These are knit and wax masks. This is amazing. How relevant to the current topic.
No.
I want to. Yeah.
These are beautiful. I want the mask and a matching jumper with it. That's going to be great.
And then we can go out dancing, all kitted up.
I know, right?
We could even have a game. Like, are you going to connect with the person who's wearing the same print mask as you? You know?
Great idea.
Amazing. This is
Look for
great.
your print partner.
There you go.
So, everyone, people, all you people watching with us, pay attention. This is what you're going to win if you answer today's question correctly. Yes? So, Sila is going to be asking the Qantas question for today. So, mail us the answers, email us the answers, or you can type it in the comment also and we'll pick them up. And then how we did the lucky draw today for last week, we're going to do the same thing next week, next talk that we have. So, Sila, go ahead with your question.
Okay, so the question for today is, which Cabo Verde beauty sang Terra Franca?
Yes. There you go. So, one more time, Sila.
Okay. Which Cabo Verde beauty sang Terra Franca?
So email us your answers right away, or write in the group, write in the comments, write to us, and the one lucky winner will win these amazing, fantastic knit and wax masks from Sila herself, from Knit and Wax. Sila, this is so amazing. Thank you for doing this for us, and you're a beautiful, amazing lady. And today's topic is diversity and inclusion. What are your thoughts and experiences about it? And how have you felt that we can improve the scenario or in any way in the dance community? Would love to know that.
Right. I've always felt included. Every time there was more a question of men inviting Black women on the dance floor. That was a discussion I've had with so many of my sisters, so many of women around, going abroad or in the UK. We would feel like guys will choose women for a certain shape or for all kinds of different reasons, and it's been felt. And when I experienced it myself, I thought, oh, maybe it's just me, because I'm quite shy, so I'm not going to go out to the guy and invite. But when I've seen other girls and then we started sharing, then it became a very big discussion. So it's also a discussion that we've had with the men. And that's how it was interesting, because this confrontation that we thought was quite important, quite present, just needed that small conversation with the guys to understand, and so it had changed. I haven't danced for quite a while, so I don't know how it is.
Can I ask whether it's kizomba or salsa that you dance? Because I think it's different in the scenes.
Yeah, that was kizomba.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That does happen. But that's also I felt the sizeism thing also exists in the salsa community also.
Oh my God! Sizeism exists hugely in the salsa community. Sorry, I'm sorry to be so blunt. Kizomba seems to be slightly better. But it's a very delicate topic, because we're talking about our bodies here, and we're talking about how we are appreciated, or we feel appreciated by dance partners who are usually men. We are talking about usually, it's interesting because diversity and inclusion should talk or should address issues also of sexuality. And if you are not heterosexual, if you're gay and you're dancing, that's a whole different matter altogether. But as a heterosexual woman, which I am, and as if others are in the same category, we do, whether we like it or not, get impacted by how we are, what happens on an evening on a dance floor. And it's the matter of sizeism is rampant, particularly in salsa. I feel, particularly in mambo, in ontu. Cuban salsa is a different matter, as we know, and kizomba has its own has its own,
Has its own
problems
issues.
around this issue. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Chloe Park who's watching with us and who's there with us. She's an instructor, Zook Kizomba instructor from Singapore, and she's also a very great friend of mine. And a lot of familiar names that I see. We've got answers coming in. Oh yes, I think India is going to take away all the masks. We kind of need it here.
Seeing that it's rising in India at the moment, perhaps the masks are highly necessary.
Yes. Anyway, thank you so much, Sila, for sharing your opinions with us, sharing your love with us. And please, everyone, do check out Knit and Wax. They have got fantastic products. Something which is like wax with knit, the wax prints on knits, and you've got. I've seen the website, and I like pretty much everything in there. It's very modern African fusion, and I love it. I love the chokers and the neck pieces that you did.
No,
they're very nice. Oh yes, see, she's got fantastic chokers that oh wow, see there it is. I loved them. I loved every bit of them. And thank you so much for joining us, and we will let you go, and thank you patiently for waiting.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thanks for sharing your experiences. We're really thank you.
Yes. See, that's what, so I think Sila herself said the same thing, I do get it that people are picky about the kind of women they want to dance with. But that's also another topic for another day. But here we're talking about diversity and inclusion. If people with special needs or people from special communities like LGBTQ, we had Pride Month last month. If everybody feels like they have a safe space to dance or not, and where they would like to see the improvement. And we have, do we have Sam, Paula?
Sam is here.
Sam is ready.
Yes, finally, Mr. Sleek. So we will have Mr. Sleek in the house, and who runs a very successful live talk himself, very popular among the salsa community. I have seen a couple of his shows, and they're really amazing. He he touches, like, he doesn't mince his words, and he says brings up some amazing pointers. So I can't wait to meet Mr. Sleek and have him here. Very special guest, Mrs. Sleek, and I'm going to come to a very interesting question for him. Hi, Sam.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hello,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. You came in.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on your show. Everyone loves it. I follow it regularly, and it's amazing. It's kind of a life giver during these times when it's difficult to connect with anyone on a personal level. This is really amazing. And you speak of
Thank you so much.
You yourself have been a part of some very interesting discussions, and you've pulled out some amazing issues, good and bad, in the dance community. And we would love to hear your thoughts on what we have here today. Diversity and inclusion. What do you feel?
To be honest, it's actually nice to see it coming from your point of view as female artists in the scene, because I think I had a couple of episodes that one of them was talking about the equality of female dancers on the dance scene. And that's like if you're just a dancer or if you're a teacher or a performer. And then we spoke on a different episode about discrimination. And I think the discrimination one just branched out. But there is a couple of things that you guys were talking about, and I really appreciate it, because I think we had the same topic on my show, and it mentioned exactly the same, that, for example, you have to be a certain look, or you have to be, I like, by the way, the word hotinism.
Yeah, just created it today.
It's an awesome word. But to be honest, I think what we perceive as a dance community, I think it comes from what the society makes us to believe that is what's appropriate. And the only way to change that, it has to start from within. And that means, for example, we need to educate the newcomers that when we come to dance scene, we don't actually look at size, we don't look at differences, we don't look at religion. Dancing is always, and it will always be about getting people together to have a good time. And I think we always have dancers that they come in, but then they kind of follow, and this is the part when the cliqueness, they mentioned earlier, there's always, it becomes, everyone follows their teacher, they admire their teachers, so the way you behave, that's what these students are actually going to follow. The reality is some people that they kind of call teachers are not supposed to be teaching, because they're doing it just for the fame and for looking good, but they teach different principles or no principles at all. And I think this comes from us as the teachers, as the leaders. Even if we have any platform, if we started changing this from us, slowly, because we can't change everything all at once and we can't change everyone, but there is always a place to start. And I think we start changing and behaving in a certain way when people see it without realizing it's a psychological effect. They started feeling the same. So one of the things I actually heard I wanted to comment on, because you guys mentioned, for example, ladies sometimes they stand on the dance floor, but they don't actually get asked to dance.
Yeah.
And that happens in every kind of style, not just on kizomba or salsa.
Yeah.
And I think, again, this is the way that we try to picture. Like, for example, if you see the cover of every newsletter or the cover of a DVD or a cover, any dance DVD instruction, they have a specific symbol of look that they use to promote the material. And generally, whether men or women, we come with that idea, what we saw there, that's what we want to find on the dance floor. So if we have more diversity on how we advertise what we do, and I think that's why I have a lot of respect for Neelam and for Less is More, because she tried to put that together. It started small, but now it's growing and growing to the point that it's not just about Less and More, it's not just about women only, it becomes about women from everywhere, from all sizes and shapes. And I think this is the best way to move forward.
Yeah, I completely feel you. I love that point when you said that it is the job of the teachers, because students end up trying to imitate what the teacher does. I see, there are, I have had amazing teachers too who make sure that on the social dance floor, they will dance with every one person who is there. And that is a culture that you cultivate among your students as well. And that's exactly what they. But then that on the contrary is the point which I mentioned, that when they choose for performances or for showcasing, or like you said, album covers or event pictures, there's always the pretty girls or the skinny girls, or of women of certain beauty standards which are being highlighted. So I it's the same teacher who does both of them. So how is it, do you think, that they would balance it? I have seen some really horrifying pictures of kizomba album covers. There's been like butt pictures, and and that's exactly it's troubling.
Well, I think I just want to say there that there is a very, again, with all these issues around social dance, I find there's such a fine line, because on the one hand, we've just talked about how empowering it is for some girls, for example, in a place like India, to feel that they can wear certain kinds of clothes and go social dancing, whereas in other parts of society, they can't express themselves because they're afraid people will judge them, or they're just afraid they'll get raped, frankly speaking. So, there is a case of the dance floor being a safer space where they can express themselves, but then go a little bit further and we are saying, but we don't like the butt pictures, So we really have to work out for ourselves, why is it that we like certain things, and what is it that we don't like, or what is it that we feel is not on, and promote is on the other side of promoting hotism or sizeism or whatever. And I think it's really about perhaps it's about the attitude that we bring to how or the intention behind why are we showcasing something like this? Why can't we do something else? So it's really also I mean, this is what I work with. That's my work as a researcher. I'm always analyzing, why is something appearing like this? Why are we being persuaded to see something like that? And in the case of the shows or the DVD covers or whatever, it would be really about the angles of the camera, a kind of certain kind of positioning of the woman's body. Those are the sorts of things that changes something from being healthy to something not right,
even like that's what I like about Less is More, is that in the video we have women of all shapes and sizes and all colors, skin colors being portrayed, and
Yes.
that's the kind of portrayal on the media that we would like to see for diversity and inclusion to be there. But when same portrayal is happening on a DVD cover and on a different set of media, say, on a dance performance or anything, I think I personally feel that I miss seeing the diversity, because I know personally there are many amazing women of bigger sizes, and even men who are of a different size requirements, or handsomeness standards or whatever. They're great dancers, but they miss out on the opportunity to get representation, because I miss the diversity. So I'll quickly give a shout out to a couple of artists friends who are here: Fadi, Oflex, Thierry Henry, Sona Barbosa is watching, Zayla Ruby, Elaine, Nelson Campos is here, Jaggy, Karde, Pamela, and so many people, amazing people. Thank you for logging in. Do share
Shall we highlight some comments that I wanted to share so that you can discuss? The last one we were about to share about Yolisa with a nice comment.
Always there.
So Yolisa just mentioned also something about that. I always make sure that I go to a social with someone I can sit and hang with, because you find that at some parties, socials, people tend to group themselves. Even if you know them, it sometimes feels awkward just to join certain groups. So I kind of developed an habit of always ensuring that I have somebody that I can hang with at a party.
Yeah, I feel that.
Isn't that obvious?
Yes.
To be honest, I think this is one of the things, again, this is the part when dancing has the two ends. Dancing, we all started dancing for the same reasons. One, we wanted to kind of de-stress from the normal daily life of what we do in daily life, from work or studying, whatever. Second, we felt comfortable because everyone was welcome. Third, we felt like we made a huge amount of friends with a short amount of time for all different backgrounds. Now, the problem is that all changes as soon as we hit a certain level and become like in a certain level dancers, and we started hanging with a different cliquey kind of type of group, because for us to look good, we feel like we have to follow exactly what they do. So if we hang out with them in the group, that makes us look really cool, and then we don't have to hang out with anyone else. But I think the bigger issue for people, like when you have friends, like for example, I say to people in salsa, when you go anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter if it's a new party, go and ask people to dance. But the way you ask them to dance, represent yourself well. Smile, say hello, hi, how you doing? I'm out of town. I want to just have a few dances, because again, there is two edges of people standing on a dance floor. Like for example, earlier we mentioned some people stand on a dance floor and they then get to be asked, and that could be a man or a woman. The way you're standing outside the dance floor, you can actually reflect it without saying anything. If you're standing on the dance floor or on the side of the dance floor and you have a glass of wine, for example, whether you're a guy or a girl, the girl is not going to ask you to dance unless if she really wants to, or the guy is not going to ask you to dance unless if they really want to dance with you specifically and they were waiting and waiting, but you didn't put the glass down. So other people are completely the opposite. They see, like for me personally, if I see someone with a drink in their hand on the side, if it's not a bottle of water, that means they're just there to watch, because I completely understand. Sometimes like I'm tired, I had like 4 hours in a row dancing and I just want to watch everyone else. But still, if someone asked me to dance, I wouldn't say no. I would say, oh yeah, give me a second, let me put my drink somewhere. But I think we have to represent ourselves by having an inviting look, if that makes sense. Like for example, smile, just be on the dance floor and show like have the eye contact, because we get like the people that they come and grab you without asking, whether a man or a woman, they just come and pull you and you're like, oh my God, just give me 2 minutes, let me breathe.
Can I ask you something, Sam?
Yes, of course.
So I think this is a very interesting point that you make, about which I also made a version of it, maybe while you were backstage or before you had come on, that absolutely it's really about how you're standing and your facial expression and how that's being picked up by the people, which really it seems to me that there is a mystery to this moment, to the evening, and anything can go wrong or right, and once it starts going wrong, it can go wrong. If it's right, you're just floating, you're having a brilliant night, and it's so unpredictable. But I think we can control a few things, as you say, by being a bit conscious about how we're presenting ourselves to others. However, would you say then this is what ensures the real inclusivity of our scene, that's the way in which things get, we all get accepted by just these small cues that we want to transmit, which in the end maybe are more important than your shape, your size, and superficial things that people are looking for?
To be honest, for me, I think in general, everything is psychological, and it's all a state of mind. Like if you left your house and said, I'm going to have a good time, and you get into the dance floor, you will have a good time. It doesn't matter who you dance with. It doesn't matter what their level is. It doesn't matter what their background is, if they're good or bad. You will have, but if you came already conscious, and that goes again for male or female dancers, and shall I not? Because we almost kind of psychologically read people's, what's I call it? Like
body language?
Body language.
Yeah.
Yes. So if I'm looking at someone, they're hesitant, I'm like, and then it makes me hesitant. Shall I ask? Oh, maybe. Okay, let's move on. Because everyone wants to jump in. But if someone saw you that, like, listen, you want to dance, and this is something like I especially when I started traveling, I used to do an experiment. I will try, and it's really like, I'm sorry to say it, but it was funny for me, so I decided to do it. So I will go to a new city, I don't know anyone, and I will probably ask, I will see people dancing, and I will ask the people that I think they're the best dancers, but I would not even pretend that I can dance. I walk in, I'm like, hey, you want to dance? And this is the thing that I used to get, especially like in the States. Like I went to a few cities, and the first thing you get, they will be like, no. And for me to make it entertainment, I wouldn't actually walk away. I will ask every single lady on the table. I'm like, what about you? You? And this is just to prove a point that they kind of almost straight away judge me before I started dancing. And then an hour later, they see me dancing, and suddenly they all turn up to be friendly. And I always say to them exactly the same thing. They'll be like, so you're not from here, would you like to dance? And I'm like, yes. Because like, when I was a beginner, like someone has to say yes to me for me to actually get better. And I think you guys should do the same thing. And some of my friends, they said that was mean. And I'm like, for me, I said to them, no, like this is basically an experiment. Because if I came and they saw me dancing already, most likely they're not going to say no if I ask them to dance. So I wanted to see the two ends, especially because I used to travel with my students. And my students, most of them, like they were like kind of a lower level. They just getting into like salsa, especially New York style and whatever. So on the other side, I, for example, like I remember like once I went to a social, and this girl, I asked her to dance, and she was like, no. And there was a girl next to her. She was like a bigger girl. And that she said to me specifically, she's like, would you like to dance? I'm like, yeah. And I think I had my best dance that night with her. So that shows you it's not just about size. It's not about, it's about the psychology. It's like the psychology behind it. If you prepare to have a good time, you will have a good time. It doesn't matter who you dance with. And sometimes whether we like it or not, because the society is actually bigger than the dancing. So a lot of things that we get is like, it comes from the society. Some people that they're not good dancers, they have the shittiest attitude ever, or they will ask them to dance and they were like, no, and they think that but this is their way of defending they're trying to cover up the gap between their level and what they really supposed to be and what they're really pretending to be. So it's easier to say no to the people they don't know, so people don't find out in between. So they look at them as good dancers automatically. But if you notice on the dance scene, actually, most of the really, really good dancers, they're actually the nicest people sometimes. And that the people that they know, even if they don't want to dance with you or they don't want to dance now, they will always like, give me a couple of minutes, I'll be back in 2 minutes, whatever. But the people who actually can dance, sometimes they have the worst attitude. They will look at you like, no. The only thing I would say, whether you're a female or a male, if someone said to you no, don't let that ruin your night. Because I think you're there for yourself. You're there for you to have a good time, not for other people. So if someone said to you no, be like, okay, just go and ask someone else.
Can I be a bit mean and ask you something, Sam?
Yes.
I'm being provocative.
Always.
So you told us a little anecdote about asking a girl and she said no. And then you said there was a bigger girl and she asked you and you said yes. Why don't you ask the bigger girl first?
I actually didn't. That's a really good question. I actually didn't get the chance to. Like literally, and this is for me because I do that. Like for me,
like the way they were standing.
No,
like,
no. I think she was standing on next to the table where I asked the girls at the table.
Yeah.
So I literally, by the time I turned, she was like, "Listen, do you want to dance?" Like, for me, it was a surprise because I think if she didn't ask me, I would have asked her to dance anyway, because I go in the row. I don't really care. And the thing is, when I want to dance, I want to dance. Like, it doesn't matter who, I just want to dance. And the thing is, sometimes, yes, I say to a lot of dancers, for example, if you're feeling insecure about your dance level, get better. Simple as. Go and learn. Because the thing is, we have a lot of people sometimes complain, yeah, but my level, if you've been in the dance scene for like 10 years and you're not a good dancer, or you can't do the basic properly, that means one of two things: whether you're not been taking classes and lessons, or you have not practiced enough. So if you've been on the dance scene for more than 3 years, you should be on a level when all that, like, and especially in salsa technical, because I'm not really a kizomba dancer. I dance every now and then. Once, like, I have 2 kizomba dances a year. So if they're gone, they're gone. First come, first serve. But for salsa, most of the, especially if you're a follower or or a leader, if you can do a good basic, people will be able to enjoy the dance with you. So the better your basic, because we see now on the dance scene, we have a lot of people that they jump from beginners and suddenly they want to become advanced dancers within like 2 weeks. And then when a year later, because they actually missed all the basics, it doesn't matter what you did on top. People don't enjoy dancing with you just because you think your basic is not actually clear. They can't actually do a basic step with you. And I think this is the harder thing for the dancers or the teachers. Is that if they want to dance, they want to be able to enjoy it. So the minimum they expect is a basic step. It's very different from when you ask someone to dance and be like, by the way, I just want to practice, I'm new and whatever. Because I'm sure if you told someone that, they automatically go like, yeah, let's practice. So they will take you through the basic steps that they expect you to practice. But if you kind of acted as like you're one of the best dancers ever, that they will walk the earth, and then you don't actually show that by example on the dance floor, of course you're gonna get the faces of like,
So,
and that works. I think that works both ways. The thing is, I think the reality is a lot of people sometimes don't like to face the reality. And I say this to like some of my friends, including myself. I remember when I came into the scene, it was really hard to ask girls to dance, because you ask a girl to dance and she will say no, in like, there's no that was like no, thank you, or with a smile. They'll be like, no. It's almost kind of, they give you the attitude of, why are you asking me? Like, why are you crossing the line? So for me, it was like more about, no. So for me to be able to ask someone and not to say no to me, I need to become good on the same level that if they said no to me, because now maybe they said no to me because I'm a beginner. And slowly, while I was teaching, I started learning, and I automatically reflect that on my classes to my students. It doesn't matter what you get to, like after 6 months, you're going to become a little bit better. Remember where you came from when people like when you started as a beginner, but people didn't say no to you. That's why you are in this spot right now, or in this level, because the advanced people dance with you. So you became intuitive. And I think if we all remember that, we have a new generation that are coming, but they're learning by example from the people ahead of them, like advanced dancers, teachers, and so on.
Well,
I hope that kind of answers.
Sorry, you want to say something?
no. I was just interrupting people to shout out to some very amazing friends who are watching with us. We have Rikita, we have Edikosa, we have Sophie Cook, we have Hillary, we have Val Danza, we have Amanda Jaycee, we've got some really amazing participation here. So it looks like we've got before we get into the comments, actually I have a thought. I would like to draw some thread from what Sam said, that the experience is more psychological, it's in your mind. So how about, like, in the description of our diversity post, we had written that how do you feel that people who have mental health issues also have do come into the dance community, and they find solace in it. They actually find this as, it's almost therapeutic. It's dance is therapeutic. So people who have struggled with mental health issues, self-esteem issues, and stuff like that, they come here in the dance community, hoping that it is diverse, it is inclusive, and hoping that it's non-judgmental, because they've been told so. Yes. And in the technicality of it, yes, we behave like that. But you had the social experiment and you saw that there are no's. So imagine what sort of like being rejected from other parts of the society, and they come to find their own place in the dance community and having to face some rejections here too. What would that actually have an effect on them? So that's one part of it. All right. So that's like we have to work hard towards, as teachers, as instructors, as organizers, to make it more inclusive. On the other hand, I have another thing that just like Ananya said, because of the anonymity in the dance community, it's because that you're not judged for who you are, what you do. There also tends sometimes, in some cases, I'm not saying, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but in some cases develops an attitude that no one knows me here. I can do whatever the hell I want here and get away with it because it's supposed to be non-judgmental. So sometimes even the suppressed, say, antisocial kind of behaviors, which are, the demons that are inside us, sometimes tend to come out in the dance community, or once they hit the dance floor, because you know what? Hey, no one's going to judge me. I can do whatever I want. That's exactly what my teacher said. So how do you balance these two out? If we are talking mental health issues and say psychological reasons for coming to the dance floor, where do you draw the balance as, how to be more inclusive and more accepting and more kind to the people who suffer from social anxiety or from rejections and stuff like that, and also safeguard the dance floor from these kind of antisocial, psychological activity. Not everybody is a born criminal, right? But just because sometimes they think that they have a leverage over a place where nobody is going to judge them, they somehow, tend to slip.
I don't know. I think the two questions are kind of different. I mean, firstly, I think we all remember the case. I do, this was quite a few years ago, but it was a shocking situation where, on the face of it, somebody who was a very bubbly, completely always happy-go-lucky kind of a person on the dance floor took his own life, and then it was revealed, or his close friends knew, that he had a history of, mental health problems. And maybe, Sam, you know whom I'm talking about, but this was, I remember it was, I don't know, maybe about 7 years ago. I had encountered this person on the dance floor in all the festivals, and I was not part of his inner circle of friends, so I would have never imagined that such a ebullient and bubbly person was actually, as I said, had all these demons inside of him. I mean, it was shocking. It was shocking, and that was a very early realization for me that everything is not always what it seems. People come on the dance floor to disguise some of their inner realities as much as play out what is inside of them, like heighten it. So there's a very complex relationship to the fact that the dance floor is a space of fantasy, and we feel we can do whatever we want on it, but that has different results and different implications for different people.
For different people, yes, exactly.
One kind of person is, as you say, this sort of almost like, this antisocial person that we cannot police. Anybody can come on the dance floor. Yeah. What do we do? I do feel that in many cases, we had a horrific situation. I'm sure people in the Kizomba world will remember it, about maybe a year and a half ago, where the woman's, say, why am I so dark suddenly? I'm trying to move around. I'm feeling like I'm on the dance floor myself, trying to kind of, I think I'm okay. There was this, we remember that case, right? Where the woman's privacy was violated. It was a scandal. I feel that there was a way in which the scene worked to police the matter. There was debate. First of all, there was debate. Everybody was talking about it, and suddenly it was no longer something that nobody wants to talk about. We couldn't. So I think that itself is healthy. While the debate was not about a good thing, the fact that there was engagement with the issue, confrontation of the issue, and discussion, I think itself was a way in which the scene was correcting itself. And then, of course, for every person who said, I don't care, I'll still dance with this person, there were people who said, no, we're not going to invite, there was an accountability. And I think that it's the job of teachers, of dancers, people who've been in the scene for a long time, to protect newcomers and make them aware that this is not just this glitzy and glamorous place where you can come and there's lots going on. Everybody comes there with their demons. People have histories with each other, and so you should be careful while you're enjoying yourself. Everybody should take responsibility for each other and keep our scenes, healthy for everybody, and police it against elements that we cannot predict are going to enter, because
you can go out, but with your masks on.
Now with the mask on, yeah. I mean, it'll be very interesting. There is discussion on social media about this. How responsible are we going to be towards each other at this moment? Where lockdowns are easing everywhere, but we know that our, unfortunately, partner dancing is one of the most susceptible to, one of the most, like the place where you are exposing yourself to this. So how are we going to return to what we love while being responsible and caring of each other? This is a big question. So
I think that's why we have these kind of forums and we talk about it, because, this is a place where we start these discussions and we have it in a healthy way and find a way to find balance and make it better for everyone. Yes, Sam, go on. You were saying something.
I just wanted to say, I think at the moment, I think I see it as one of the positive things from the lockdown. We started having a lot of talk shows like this. This is actually, for me, what I call one of the taboo subjects. And people normally, taboo subject is the thing that people don't want to talk about it. Everyone can complain about it one-to-one to my friend, but we're never open to actually speak about it publicly. One of two reasons, because sometimes we fear of being judged. And whether we like it or not, when the dance scene or outside the scene, there is always judgmental people. So that again goes back to your state of mind. Like, to spread awareness, you have to talk about the thing that no one wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And that slowly is going to help you people to actually come to you and be like, by the way, the same thing happened to me, or you were talking about this, and I wanted to give you an example. We need to show that we welcome to people. We need to speak to each other. Like, even like, for example, some people, they come in to the scene and they look really stuck up. So it takes one person to actually go and have a conversation with them, because again, you could be a good dancer. And I'm assuming this is what makes you stuck up on the dance floor, because you think you're one of the good dancers and you're always in demand for people to dance with you. But the reality is, kizomba or salsa or bachata in the real world, it means nothing. So when you actually step outside of the dance floor or outside of the club, no one is going to come and ask you for your autograph. And this is the reality that people don't actually see. And it's true. We could be famous with our dance scene, but the dance scene in the real world means nothing. Like in our dancing, the SBK.
That's exactly why it's such a dangerous place to, because you're giving yourself to it.
Yes, but to be honest, I think that it starts again from yourself. You have to be yourself aware. Sometimes, like, a lot of people say to me, yeah, but on a dancing, I went and, for example, this guy or this girl did this. And I'm like, yeah, but you should have your own standards. Like, no one is going to give you standards if you don't give it to yourself. No one is going to give you respect if you don't actually give your respect to yourself before you go somewhere. So if you went anywhere, and this is something that, again, you can actually try to test it. See the difference between like going somewhere and dress as naked as you could, and a guy come and be like, hey, baby, what's up? And be like, hey, back off. And do the same thing with another guy, but give him a smile. Hey, back off and stop it. Don't do this. And you're going to find the one that you were very strict with in the beginning, he would back off. Like he might be mumbling in a way out, you bitch, I don't care, you lesbian, whatever. But he will back off. The second one, he will be like, oh, no, she's just playing hard to get. And the same thing goes for guys. Because I see that it happens again. A lot of people normally say, like, for example, this happens with girls and whatever, but it happens to guys too. Some guys are not like, they're not confrontational enough to actually say no. And then you'll find the other thing is, as a community, we need to get together and look after each other, because the dance scene, it has people that dare to dance, but it has people who never actually had the dancing in mind. They want to become better because they just want to date and find someone to go out with, and we're gonna shack up tonight. So and it's a reality whether we like it or not. Some people, they actually become good just because they want to pull someone later on the dance floor and they'll be like, yeah, I'm a superstar, I can actually choose. But if as a community we work together and we start talking to each other and have it like an open subject, not call it a taboo, not try to hide it, have it as an open subject and talk to people and be like, hey, by the way, this is not how it's supposed to be. If someone did this to you, you should say no. If someone lifted you upside down for no reason, you should say no. And but it's true. A lot of people, they try like different things to impress, especially the newcomers. Like they target the newcomers because they don't know better. So our responsibility as a community with the people that they already know, like we already could have an idea, for example, yeah, that girl is a cougar, that guy is a tease, whatever. So when the new people come in, we should be like, hey, like if a guy did something, by the way, yeah, be careful from this guy or be careful from that girl. And slowly the bad apple in the dance scene, they will start fading out because they're going to feel like every time they try to do something, there is someone there to prevent them.
Yeah.
But exactly, be like, hey.
Also we talk, right? Girls also talk, and we will say that guy, just don't go near him, you know, or just refuse, don't dance with him because. But you know, I want to ask something. I want to change the topic a little slightly because we have diversity and inclusion as the topic, and I want to address some things that I don't think we've actually talked about yet. I mean, Sam, I know you mentioned at a certain point early that it's what I really like about the dance scene is that you don't often, you generally, one of the things you never judge people on are what country they're coming from and what religion they are. And given that this is one of the worst ways in which people are judging each other in the world, it's quite a relief that, you know, these are not issues that anybody really cares about. There may be things like size and stuff, but nobody really gives a damn about what religion you are. So I really like that.
Exactly.
But what about sexuality? You know, I'm really interested. How do people feel? Do we feel really that we include people on the dance scene who are not heterosexual and therefore can have a very different feeling towards these partner dances where we assume 9 times out of 10, you've got a man who's leading and a woman who's following? I mean, how do we feel if we have, if we see, what are the reasons why we would or wouldn't like to see, say, men following, women leading, or men and men dancing? And what are our inner feelings about this? Is this a scene? Are these scenes only for people who are heterosexuals and heteronormative, or is there a way for people who have other sexual orientations to feel accepted in the scene? Or do we care? Do we actually care?
Yeah. Yes, Sam,
okay,
go on.
Actually, to be honest, in general, I think as human beings, we're always scared of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, whether inside or outside, and this is like, for example, let's go to 10 years ago, we would find even like being gay was not something that people accept. Now that completely changed. And it's the same thing that actually happened on the dance scene. Like when you go, you're dancing a girl, a guy, and for first times, a guy come and ask a guy for a dance, and suddenly you see them going like, like they don't want to, they don't want to look sexist, but in the same time they're not comfortable. We have to understand, for some people it's not normal, but the best way to approach it by trying to make it normal. Be like, hey, yeah, I had that person leading me too, because I think for me I was quite lucky. Like I had like some gay friends from long time, like since I was young, and it was never a thing. But still, when I came to salsa and I was dancing, and like, for example, I remember I used to have one of our closest friends, and he asked me to lead him, and I'm like, like it took me a while to kind of say yes. And then I was like, you know what the worst could happen, let's do it. And to be honest, at that night specifically, I think he was the best followers I've ever danced with, and that changed my perspective. But again, a few months later, another guy came and asked me to dance. And this is the part I think people have to understand. You need to approach people like a gazelle. So if you jumped at them, they're going to run. So you have to be like, hey, hi, my name is so and so. Like, don't, because again, I think everyone, we come from different societies. We come from different backgrounds with different understanding to everything around us. We behave differently. So even if a guy now in London, where I'm walking with my friend on the street, and he put his arm around me, automatically I'm going to be like, hey, what are you doing? So it's exactly the same thing. So we're slowly getting into this. But on the dance floor specifically, I think the person that, even like, for example, if you're not gay, some like heterosexual men could come and ask another man to dance, or heterosexual women can ask females to dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes if you don't know them, you got to break the ice by speaking to them first. And I think that's what the different understanding, because like, for example, the common thing known, a guy will ask a girl to dance, or a girl will ask a girl to dance, if you know them or if you don't know them, because it's kind of like one of the common unspoken rules since we started dancing. One of us gonna ask the other. But if I'm coming from the other side, and especially if I don't know that person, if I ask them, like for me, for example, if a guy asks me to dance, if I don't know them, normally I'm like, yeah, let me see you dancing first, because I don't want to feel like I'm gonna actually dance with someone who's just a beginner and he's trying to lead me. You might break my arm. But then if I think they're good and they're actually going to lead or they're going to follow me, and I'm like, okay, that's smooth, light, whatever. But it's still not the same as someone I already know. Like I met a couple of times, we had a chat and whatever. So I'm like, yeah, can you lead me today? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Because mentally I'm preparing myself to it. And I'm like, yeah, cool. But if it comes to just someone ask me, I think on the dance floor, suddenly out of nowhere, I'm always going to be, and that's not just me, that's I think everyone, because we're not used to it. So it's going to be like, okay. So I think to approach it, we need more people to actually, if you don't know someone, because if they know you, they're not going to say no to you. Like I have a couple of my female friends that like to lead, and they're always come and ask me like, Sam, can I lead you? I'm like, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, not tonight. I don't think I'm going to be following anything. I'm so exhausted, my brain is not going to work. But it's okay. So it's just, I think, the approach of how to expand it. And the more we do it, the more people see it's okay.
So do you think it's really then a technical thing? Most men, I mean, in the scene then, where a good, an established dancer like yourself, when it's really that when a man asks you to dance, you're not thinking, oh my God, it's a man. You're thinking this is probably not a very good follower. And I need to know if that person is a good follower, because most men are not followers. Is that, so that's the...
That exactly. It's based actually more on technique than where you're from and where, if you're gay or not, like say your sexuality. It's actually based more on technique than anything else.
Well, that's, but that makes me feel that we are very inclusive. I mean, because we are judging people on skill, not on what their orientation is. And I think that's not a, that's a positive.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's true. But again, it could come from different, I think from different perspectives. And that's why I think for you, if you don't know someone, like, especially if you think it's out of the way, just ask them. Hi, introduce yourself. My name is so-and-so, let's have a dance. Oh, I like the heart.
So sorry to interrupt there. Just quickly taking some time out to give shout out to Victoria. We have Diana, Urban Kiss, Angel, Bianca, Rui, Gaio Super, great, Jorge.
Wow, we've got some important people watching us. We better up our game.
Yes, Mooney, Nuno Pesquera, Sam Cooper, Sharon Daly, Sophie Fox is there, Laura G, great. Chrissy Kizoma, Sophie, how's it going with the new baby? Kimberly Nicole, Rocky Cola is in the house, Amber Rose, Emma, and I think I lost. Okay, let's take up some comments. Paula. So we have some.
Camilo Solinti Soler.
Camilo's my student, my PhD student, and he's a great dancer. Yes.
Wow.
He's no longer a PhD student. He's Dr. Camilo now. Sorry.
So Dr. Camilo says, I do feel that I'm still to find the salsa or kizomba dance floor where I feel comfortable to ask another man to dance from the moment I arrive. In some places or events, you get to know people who are up to it after some nights, and some others you feel you would never be fully safe doing so. But so far, I have not found any initial or upfront sign at the door, at the dance floor or event that it is a safe space for dancing between men. Yes, you just have to go. Yeah, many people have to just depend on their gaydars to understand. But what I see in India is, because although there are more men in the dance floor and less women, there are still women who are so hesitant because we are culturally conditioned to not really dance at first go to another strange man. So I and many other leading ladies who lead, they end up asking a lot of other females just to break the ice and to have them come to the dance floor and be more participative. That really works. But that works because it's a lady to lady. But I'm not really sure if that is going to work when it comes to a man asking a man, because there are more men here. There are many men who follow, and I'm not sure how they would be. I mean, they would have a reaction when they go and ask another complete stranger man. You know, people who know them, yes, agreed. You know, people who know that they follow and they are straight or gay or whatever it is. You know, men are gonna go and ask them. Among friends, yeah, people on a regular basis, agreed. But yes, if it's a complete stranger on the dance floor, and like you said, there are no signs where it says that it is allowed to dance between, you know, men asking men, I can understand that there could be some amount, not some actually,
But
definitely.
if I can just say that it's not the same in every place. I've traveled a lot in Brazil for dance, not in the last few years, but there was a time I was going quite a few times a year to Brazil even. And it was amazing, amazing. We have a lot to learn from Brazilian dance, social dance culture.
You have men dancing with men.
Yes, men are dancing with men. They're dancing with men regularly at classes because they want to know the technique of leading and following. It's absolutely no stigma. Then they're dancing with each other in socials. People go out in big groups of friends. It's an amazing feeling of being accepted. So people are not hungry and desperate to dance because they feel that everybody will ask somebody at some point. And you know, it's cool. Also, they mix the dances up usually on the dance floor. People are very dance literate in Brazil, so you'll have people all, you know, you'll have them dancing the Brazilian zouk, Brazilian samba de gafieira, salsa, different kinds of salsa, then kizomba. When I was going to Brazil, kizomba hadn't yet started in that big way, but now it is. So, you know, people were very adept. Bolero, you know, they would just throw themselves in and do whatever depending on the music. And it was the same attitude of openness they had towards each other as people as well. So I don't think it's the same everywhere. I certainly didn't experience it in Brazil, and we should learn more, I think, from such places.
I think from the comments, definitely from the comments, what we see is that there is a lot of demand for watching men dancing with each other. Hillary says, I love to see men dancing together. The dynamic is different. And Beth says, yes, a samba, that two men jamming was the best to watch. So much fun watching them change the lead and trickery. Hillary again says, I often dance with other women as there are never enough men. Yes, I understand, Hillary. That's actually one of the reasons why
That's one of the reasons. That's the only reason why I would say let's not have too many men dancing as followers, please, because you're anyway, you know, like dying for a dance most of the time, and you know, in competition.
I started learning to lead because other than India, everywhere else is the same problem. Be it anywhere in Southeast Asia, anywhere in and around, in Europe, everywhere is the same problem. There are more men. So, you know, I literally learned how to lead so that, you know, I don't sit out the dances when I travel to these other countries. But when I'm in my country, other than I think one or two cities, like handpicked, mostly in January there are more women on the more men on the dance floor. So it's like I never get to breathe. No sitting. I'm like going dance after dance after dance after dance. Even if I want to lead, I cannot lead. In fact, there was a festival where I was a taxi dancer, and then I chose to lead a couple of women who were sitting on the sidelines, and I was like, they're not getting dances. So I walked up to them, and there was a complaint that there's a taxi dancer who's supposed to follow, but she's not following. She's going and leading somebody. I'm like, okay. So, but then I think that happens only in India, I guess, because the gender ratio is like that here. But other than that, I think, yes, we will have to. I
do love watching men dance together. There's a special dynamic there, and you know, as a woman, I have no problem dancing with another woman. It's a different feeling, you know. Just the way you hold each other, and the connection is completely different, and it's very, you know. It's a special feeling, right?
Completely irrespective of your sexual orientation.
Yeah.
You know, it has nothing to do with the sexual orientation whatsoever. It's just so comfortable and so nice and fun, right? So
this is a great conclusion that we've come to, that actually in the dance scene we don't make too many judgments on based on your probable sexual orientation or no, just as we really don't care about your religious orientation. I mean, we don't even know, and so half the time, people are using pseudonyms anyway, so we don't know what they are if we even wanted to work things out. So I think these are the benefits, and let's focus on them, because often we only talk about the negative things. Let's also say something about the things that are work, and and be proud of that.
Of course, definitely. I've seen the dance community, like I said in the beginning also, so many people who had struggles with self-esteem, who have struggled with confidence and, reaching out to people, or in general, having trouble to communicate. They have found their, their explosive personalities through the dance. When they come to the dance floor, they let themselves go, they're free, and they feel more liberated. I have friends from the LGBT community who haven't had that much acceptance from anywhere else, but in the dance community, nobody cares. So they get to really be themselves. They get to really have, and that's I think the beauty and joy of dancing in general, right? So, and as organizers and teachers, maybe we have the control over how to keep the negatives outside, and warn each other, protect each other, have dialogues and conversations like this, which opens up our minds in a way that we become more accepting, and we also come to know about the challenges that people face, and make it a better place for everyone. This was fantastic, everyone. Thank you so much, Ananya. Thank you so much, Sam, for coming in in the last minute. And this was amazing dialogue with everyone. Paula, yes.
Yes, I'm going to invite Nilam for a wrap up before we say all right. She wants to say hello to Sam and to Ananya and do our wrap up.
Yay!
Yay! We're so happy to have you here, Neelam.
Yes.
Hi.
What's up, sister?
Hey. Thank you so much for getting me online. I'm so sorry for the delay. It's been brilliant. I've been listening to you guys in the background. It's amazing. I firstly want to say thank you to Paula and Ami. It's been incredible that you've just picked this up spontaneously, and you've done a great job. And as usual, Ananya, the way you think is incredible. It's like super speed, and there's so many levels and layers to you. It's incredible.
Yes, so Ananya is a rock star.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the areas that we still have to tear away, like the layers. There's so many layers that we can peel away. And a big heartfelt thank you to Sam Sleek. As you all know, Sam does Speak to Sleek. So thank you so much, Sam. He picked up lastminute.com for me, guys. It was life-saving for me as well, because it's all very new to us. As you know, this is our third live, and your feedback is so important, how we are developing with this live feed. And I don't know if we have the intention to continue, but I think we're doing fantastic, and there's been some awesome feedback. But I think true feedback is, if there is a bit of critique, we're willing to hear it, and we're willing to progress forward with that as well. So I know there's so much more to be said about this topic, but I'm very aware of the time. And we always said that we want to try and keep live chats to at least within 2 hours. I think, Sam, 2 hours can be so long. And there is still so much to talk about. So thank you so much for your contributions. And finally, obviously, our important people is the ones that are tuning in. It's amazing. If you could keep continuing to share, to give us your thoughts. It's so important that what we're doing is not just a few people sitting in the back of the stream, but we are, we want to make an impact. We want to see things changing. And I think with COVID, it's been a huge platform for a lot of changes. Like mind-wise, there's been huge changes in how people are propelling, how people are viewing each other, how more accepting we've become, how more patient that we have become. And I know that obviously there's a lot of talk on Facebook, but that's just one tiny platform. Let's remember there's so many other social medias where there's so much positive stuff going on, and we want to keep bringing that into our live feeds. We don't want to just use this as a springboard to keep talking and talking. We want to keep pushing forward, and I think that's important for us. Now, I know there was a word that Ananya said, and I just want to say, what was it called? Hot something?
Autism. Autism. We don't mind autism.
Word of the day.
So we heard live, a new word, less is more, called hotism. Okay, and so who falls in the category of hotism, Ananya?
Do you think? Well, sorry, Neelam. Do you think I'm?
Who falls in the category of hotism?
What are my thoughts about autism?
Now, who falls in the category?
Who falls in the category? Is it my voice?
Who falls in the category? Oh, all the people who judge other people on the basis of whether they're hot or not. So they are the hottest. Different from hotties. We can
Hotometer.
not to be confused with the hottest.
Fabulous. I want to, I mean, I'm coming in very, very much, you know, I feel like I'm the one who's coming in to say, right, children, it's a wrap.
Yes.
You know, time is pressing. So if that's the person, I'll take the responsibility and say, hey guys, that's a wrap. But before we go, I just have a quick shout out, and I think it's important that we keep Sam and Ananya here because, you know, their flavour to all of this is really crucial, and they might even be part of this as well. So there's 3 very special topics that we want to cover. And they're going to be an addition to the other bi-weekly lives that we do anyway. And one of them is around female DJs within the scene.
Okay.
And we'll do a special one around DJs. And we'll be getting a couple of DJs. We're having that conversation already. And we have a few of them from various parts of the world coming in. So that's going to be a really hot topic because you can imagine already we've got so many female DJs. I think there's a platform out there right now that's happening as we speak.
Yes.
Right? Well, women DJs or something like that. Apologies if I've got it wrong, but there is a live on that right now as we're speaking of female DJs for 3 days.
Yes.
Lots of lots of hotism. And the other one is around, I don't know if I can use this, but post-COVID times. I know we're still within this area, but we are, you know, we've moved on quite a lot. A lot of people going back to work. There's been a lot of push towards that too. So we're going to do something around COVID, post-COVID, especially for us as dancers. As you know, there's been an announcement that gym is opening on the 27th of July. And so there's been talks already on like Hardy's group, Hardy's page. He's mentioned about, you know, if we're opening, what's going to happen for dancers. So we're going to have a conversation around that as a special. And also the other thing that was really, really the big thing, you know, like the big, we've hit it hard with a hammer, and that would be around Black Lives Matter. And again, it's been a lot of conversations around that through social media. There's been a lot of movement, and rightly so that we have this kind of movement happening now. But the way we want to do this is to ask that question around what actions are we taking. I know we're feeding on social media, and there is obviously going to be there's going to be waves and how everybody is feeling about this. But it's important that what we're showing here is what are we doing, what actions are we showing, what are we promoting in terms around Black Lives Matter. And that's the wrap about the special. But another good one that's coming up in 2 weeks' time, on the 24th of July, folks, so keep an eye out on that one. 24th of July, we've moved over to a Friday as well, so bear that in mind. On the 24th of July, we want to talk about self-care. So self-care for artists and self-care for you as dancers as well. It's important that we address those issues too, okay? With a more positive and a mental attitude around that. So that's me. So Mummy Neelam has spoken. I've done my good night, folks. Kind of thing. If there's anything I've missed out, I apologise. I know that we did an announcement for Jim. So Jim, if you're out there, Wakanda Prince, thank you so much. And Zilla, she's asked the question.
Yes.
I can't remember the
We'll have to
question.
pick out the answers from the comments.
So remember, you can. If you come on live, can we get the question up again? If you are coming on live, you've still got a few more minutes to answer that question and be in to receive a gift that Zilla from Knits and Wax has kindly offered to our audience out there. Okay. I think that's all my mentions. And again, thank you so much, Ananya. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you. Thanks.
Sam's going to be my backup plan now from now on. He doesn't know it yet. He does now, and so does everybody else. So thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for another very interesting session. See you next time.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everyone who are watching, for everyone who's watching, then please
Thank you so much.
leave your emails at lessonsmorefoundation.com. Subscribe so that once we reach 100 subscriptions, yes, once we reach 100 subscriptions, we're going to have a lucky draw again. We're going to pull out one name, and that person's going to get a free pass to Less is More next year. And plus, it's like a 1+1 offer. You get to bring your BFF for half the price.
Wow.
That's amazing. And your BFF together. So very important, guys. We need to hit the number 100, and then we can have the draw. So everyone who's watching, please, please, please subscribe down below. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Ananya. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Ananya. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thanks again.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.